And I think there's kind of like two lines of policy. There is one led by Secretary Rubio, who's pro more engagement with Damascus, who's pro a gradual lifting of sanctions, again, to utilize this opportunity where Iran and Russia are finally out of Syria, and to try to kind of shift Syria into the right direction, but also set up Syria for success. So you have this one direction led by Secretary Rubio. I think to a lesser extent, perhaps Special Envoy Witkoff and his team also realizes this opportunity, and they want to engage with Damascus. On the other hand, you have a team led, or basically like a direction led by the CT senior director at the NSC, Sebastian Gorka, and others within the White House who want to continue to isolate Syria, who perhaps want to do actually more sanctions on Syria. Among this team, there is no appetite for engagement or any sort of sanction relief. So this is kind of like where we are. I think we see some of that in some direction or some messaging that comes from the administration. And that's why I think sometimes there's some conflict between some messaging and another. So definitely messaging coming out from the NSC is coming a lot stronger on the negative side, while messaging from State Department is coming more on the positive side. I think there's a question of where things would go, and that would lead us to what the priorities for the president are. I think for President Trump, there are two priorities. One, which is pulling out U.S. troops from Syria. U.S. CENTCOM has provided different plans to the president, whether it is, it can start with a 30 days withdrawal plans or up to 1 year. I think just looking at the agreement that happened between the SDF and Damascus and the timeline basically to have withdrawal by the end of the year, I think perhaps this is where the president thinking is. Stabilize the situation, give it some time. If it looks good, then it's easy for the president to pull forces. Yeah, that is a number one priority. If Syria is to come to the president's table and mind, the other topic that will be in mind is some sort of engagement or normalization track between Syria and Israel. I think that is the one other topic where the president would be much more interested, and where he would actually be taking the lead on dictating where the Syria policy would go.